Hi, I'm Talissa.
And I'm Rachel, and this is Transatlantic Crime, a true crime podcast that covers stories from each side of the pond. Every week, we will both cover a separate story with a running theme.
Disclaimer, this podcast will contain swearing and details that some people may find offensive. If you are of a sensitive disposition, listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to Transatlantic Crime.
Crime. So close.
Good morning, Talissa.
Good evening, Rachel. Good evening. How are you? I know you've only just gotten up, but...
Yeah, I'm good. I always prep what I'm gonna say at the beginning, and then I just completely forget it.
Well, it's okay, we're not being paid for this, so...
Yeah.
What the fuck ever.
When we are, then I'll be more stressed out about it.
Then you can start to worry about talking bollocks.
Right.
So, I said last time to you that I was going to watch I'll Be Gone in the Dark.
Oh, yeah. What'd you think?
Yeah. So I found an illegal stream, and it was amazing. But I had to put my computer on an American VPN. I don't know, I think it's illegal, but I doubt anyone's going to report me. But, oh my fucking God. It's so good.
Just how the first episode ends, I loved it. I loved how it ended.
Yeah, if anybody can just Google, watch I'll Be Gone in the Dark online, free stream or whatever, just fucking do it. Because I would like to buy it from HBO, but they won't release it over here. And if you think I'm waiting, you are high. So, yeah, I basically hunted it down just like I said I would. And, I know they always have, survivors, because he was such a prolific rapist, wasn't he?
Right.
They always have survivors available for interviews and stuff. So I feel like I've watched a fair few documentaries on him, and I've seen some of the survivors that I recognise from different stuff.
Right.
There was a lady on there, I can't remember her name, but she's wearing a yellow blouse, and she's like, he got me, and she said something like, he was leading me into the living room, and I was talking to him, and he said, shut up, and she said, I'm sorry.
Yes.
And she was like, that's just what women were like back then.
Right.
And I was just like, yes! Oh, God, I loved her.
Yeah, back then and now even, too, so...
I know, but I just loved it. It kind of is they talk about it from a really gender-specific feminist stance, don't they? They say that there was no female police officer there to deal with them after they'd been sexually assaulted and raped, so they just felt really horrible talking about it to a man and stuff. And there was that one lady detective who was amazing and took them to the hospital and stayed with them the whole time and all this stuff.
Right.
And she had an amazing beehive hairdo.
Oh my gosh, it's great.
I was so in it as well for the fashion,
Yeah.
the hairdos, the house decor. California in the 70s is my dream house. It is, the decor is just on point, and the clothes and the hair and the makeup.
Yes.
Loving all of it.
I agree. I think the feminist take on it too is, the feminist focus on it is, it's because of Michelle McNamara.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you watched a Golden State Killer East Area Rapist documentary from 10 years ago, it would be different.
Yeah, definitely. And there's also that husband and wife that are both on camera.
Yes.
Because I think that, obviously a lot of marriages break down naturally anyway. There's not many people that stay married for, their whole lives.
Right.
But these people are, this couple, he is just sat there going, I just didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I just didn't know how to cope with it. And it's, really refreshing to see a guy of that age, of that era. He's just... And he just sits there and lets his wife talk about it, and then he just is like, I just didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Just admits it.
That point in the documentary, in the episode, is when I had to switch it off with Will, because Will couldn't handle that part.
Yeah, it's putting yourself in that position.
Yeah, he was imagining being in that position, and it made him, it was too much for him, which I understand.
I can totally see why that would make you sad. So if you get a chance to watch that, I don't want to bore the tits off people talking about it constantly, but it's either that or The Sopranos, so...
Yes.
Okay, any more news?
I've just been looking at the stats. I know you have been, of all of our listeners, and we've had over 1,000 listeners, which is awesome.
I am so chuffed with it. I kind of don't have like a touch point of like, this is how many we should have, but it feels like it's going well.
I think so.
I'm really good with that.
More than our families are listening, so.
My family aren't listening. So
Right.
I can tell you that for free.
I mean, like, more than 5 people are listening, which is me, you, our husband.
Boyfriends that we made. My best friend doesn't even listen to it. Like, so yeah, it's very, very good. And thanks everybody that bothers to listen to us harp on.
Yeah.
I appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you enjoy it as much as we do.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Okay, so this week it is Killing for Cash.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Please tell me you got the memo on it.
Watch, I'm like, what? I thought it was conspiracy theories again.
Fucking hell. Right, yeah, so you are first this week, I think.
Okay, let's get into it.
Yeah, let's just do it.
Elizabeth Wheat, a correctional officer at a California state prison, was 40 years old when she married Nunzio Bagarin in July 1997.
No intro, just straight in there with the story.
I don't have an intro. I just like.
Will it like give it away?
It's pretty straightforward.
Okay.
Killing for cash. They got married pretty quick.
So she's a prison officer, right?
Yes.
That's what you said. Okay.
He's just a dude, a deadbeat dude.
Okay.
I just feel like everyone knows where it's going.
That's okay. There's how they killed them. There's where. There's when.
Yeah, I know.
There's how quickly they got caught, if they got caught. I'm sorry it isn't aliens, Rachel, but we've just got to get on with it, okay? We can go back to conspiracies next week.
Yes. No, it's okay. We'll wait a while for that.
Okay,
so she's 40 years old. She re-meets Nunzio because they knew each other as teenagers, but then they had recently reconnected.
Like you and Will.
Yes, but I'm not comparing this story to me and Will.
I'm just giving people background, but yeah, go on.
Yeah, for context, me and Will knew each other in 3rd grade.
Cute.
So we were 8 years old.
Okay, so not really the same, but
yeah.
You reconnected, yes.
Yeah, we reconnected. That's where the comparison stopped.
Okay. If police ask.
So Elizabeth was a prison guard. She had worked her way up. She bought her own home and her own car. She was close with her family, and she was ready to have her own family. So remember, she was 40 years old. So
yeah. What year is this?
1997.
Okay, cool. So it's not like the 70s where she'd be like washed up by that point.
No.
Yeah. Times have moved on.
Right. So Nunzio and Elizabeth dated for a short time, and they quickly married in Vegas. Nunzio and his 10-year-old daughter moved in with Elizabeth. 3 days later, Nunzio took out a $1 million life insurance policy on his new wife.
That's gotta be a bingo. I don't think it is on the bingo card, but it should be. Should be.
Yeah, and there was some articles too where it was like, he didn't bother taking one out on his own life, just hers. So it wasn't like a mutual decision.
Yeah, like, let's plan for the future.
Right. Over the next few months, Elizabeth's family and coworkers noticed a change in her. She wasn't her usual hardworking, mellow self. She called in sick to work often, and she saw her parents less and less. Nunzio had also run up large amounts... sorry, I'm still waking up.
That's okay.
Nunzio had also run up large debts under Elizabeth's name, and he had a gambling habit. He would convince Elizabeth to stay home and call in sick to work and stay home with his daughter while he went to work, air quotes, which was the casino.
I kind of love gambling stories because it reminds me of my favourite episode of The Simpsons, which is the one where Springfield gets a casino.
And Marge gets addicted.
Yeah, and Homer's just like, because you have a gambling problem. And that's what I say to Carly whenever she gets a scratch card from the shop.
You should bring Carly to Vegas.
Oh my god, I talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Like, thing is though, she's the sort of person that would, like, I was like, okay, I'm gambling, I'm going to gamble $10 and that's it.
Yeah.
And I just fed 10 $1 notes into a machine and you just heard, I was like, oh, you were like, no, you didn't win anything. I'm like, oh, that's it, is it? Might as well have eaten those $10. Like,
I think also we were so proud when we got like $2.
I was watching a documentary about people who live under Vegas, like in the storm drains and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
there's like a massive tunnel system under Vegas because it flooded once,
Right.
and they didn't want it to happen again. So they built like these huge drains, and people just live under them. And then, like, to make money, they go and get like the little people win $2 and they just leave it, don't they? Because they're like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, we wouldn't leave it because we were impressed, but like normal Vegas people are like, fuck's sake, I'm not even bothering to take that to the like cash in place. So yeah, they just go around and collect all the little winnings, and then they make like $10 or whatever.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then they gamble that. So
Did we even cash in that $2 though? I don't think we did.
It seems like the sort of thing I would do. I don't know if you did. I cashed in my $2. Oh, what, you think you're better than me?
I just feel like everyone else who's going up to cash up is like, it's over $50 for sure, or over $20.
It's not a competition, Rachel. Money's money.
I'd just be embarrassed if I was like, can I have $2, please?
I've got an English accent, so I can do it, no problem. No problem. I was like, we don't have this sort of thing here, so gimme.
So Nunzio had a gambling habit. He also apparently didn't wait very long before he began dating a waitress at a nearby restaurant and telling her that he was unhappily married.
So Elizabeth didn't know about this.
No.
But the waitress knew he was married. Come on, waitress, you can do better than that.
Right.
You don't need some shitty gambling married guy.
Right. It's just like, from what I read and what I listened to, the California podcast.
Ah, yeah. She's doing really well.
Yeah, she's very detailed. Meanwhile, we're just like, yeah, I think this is what happened.
Did the waitress know? I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so he started dating this waitress. Bear in mind, like, they recently reconnected. They got married super quick in Vegas. It sounds like he completely took advantage of a woman who just turned 40 and felt like she had to get married.
My story is a tad similar to that.
Yeah.
In the intent of the person.
Right.
But yeah, go on.
In the California episode, she kind of goes into how he was most likely abusing her as well, like manipulating her and abusing her. So, because a lot of her family and friends noticed that she was becoming more and more isolated and withdrawn. So it's similar with Dirty John. Yes.
Like, right. And they call it love bombing, which is where you basically come into someone's life and you're like, oh my God, you're my dream woman. Mm-hmm. Like, marry me. Let's be together forever. And it's just like far too soon. Right. And if you were in a really good place in your life, you'd be like, Jesus, that's too much. Yeah. But because they are like a bit, like, for want of a better word, desperate. Right. They're like, oh my God. And when people say it seems too good to be true, they're like, why don't you want me to be happy? Right. Like, yeah. I never have this. This is my chance. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, they think that that's most likely what happened, and her family didn't trust him as well, or her parents. Classic. Yeah. So he started dating this waitress, and then not too long after that, he made contact with some Los Angeles gang members. They were apparently, one or two of them was his old school friends or like boyhood friends. And this guy's just like a fucking Rolodex of shit decisions. I know. Like, gamble, cheat on my wife, friends with gangsters. Yeah. Also, I feel bad for his 10-year-old daughter. Like, what was she like? You know, what was she? Hopefully, I mean, whatever you said, they live with her, don't they? I was gonna say, hopefully, her mum is like taking her out of that crap, but no, apparently he was already in the system. Like, he was already in trouble with the law for assault against his daughter's mom or something along those lines. So he was like, so he only had her a bit, or no, she lived with him and Elizabeth, but he had the mom. She was the one who had, like, I don't know if it was a restraining order or what, but he had apparently abused her. So, yeah. So he made contact with his boyhood friends, which were Los Angeles gang members, and it was with the intention to kill his wife and collect the insurance money. So this was all within not even a year of being married. For the love of God. I feel like at the moment we're just a who's who of human shit. Just a dictionary of... Yeah. Want to hear about something shitty someone did? Yeah. All right, so
On the night of January 17th, 1998, 6 months into their marriage, Elizabeth, Nunzio, and their daughter went on a shopping trip in Burbank, about an hour from their home. As they shopped in Macy's department store, I've been there in Burbank.
Have you?
Yeah. Nunzio very obviously gave Elizabeth a wad of cash, $5,000,
Okay.
for her to hold in her
Ooh.
purse.
Oh, I see where this is going.
On the way to Anaheim that night, which is, I think that's where they lived. Anaheim is where Disneyland is, by the way.
Nice.
It's like an hour away too, it's really weird that they were shopping in Burbank, which is an hour away from their home. Like, Talissa, you've experienced LA traffic. Why would you go all the way an hour away to go to Macy's? There's definitely a Macy's in Anaheim.
Oh, yeah. And also, an hour isn't an hour, is it? It's like 3 hours.
Exactly.
Or like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was another strange part of the story. It was like, why did they go all the way up there? But I'll tell you why.
Okay.
So on their way back to Anaheim that night, they were on the freeway and they were being followed in their car. Alleged gang members followed their car for almost 30 miles and waved a gun at them on the freeway.
Be cool. Save the gun for the event.
Yeah. This is all
Anyone could have seen you.
This is all according to Nunzio. This is what he told the police. So
Oh, okay. So this is probably shit anyway.
yeah.
Yeah.
Probably some of it is probably true, but being followed and stuff like that. But yeah, like waving their gun at them, I'm sure that was an embellishment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In an effort to ditch the drivers, Nunzio pulled onto a freeway on-ramp and got boxed in by the stalkers. While he hovered over his daughter to protect her, Elizabeth got out of the car to confront the harassers. So all of that, what I just read, was Nunzio's account.
What he said happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
Elizabeth was shot twice, once in the face, once in the chest. The gunman also stole her purse and then fled the scene. Another driver on the freeway called 911. When officers arrived on the scene, they found Elizabeth's badge lying on the ground next to her body, and Nunzio and his daughter hiding behind their car. They shut down the freeway and began extensively searching the area for clues. Nearby the family car, they found torn pieces of paper strewn on the ground. These would later become key pieces of evidence.
Oh, I dread to think what's on that paper.
Yeah.
I just I hate you, bitch, or something. Also, I know you got to defend your daughter, but one, you've planned to murder your wife with your daughter in the car. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
And two, oh yeah, I was protecting my daughter and she was confronting a guy waving a gun around.
Well,
come on.
This is his account, so I'll talk about it a little bit, but she was a correctional officer, so she probably already had experience dealing with, people in prison where maybe she knew
gnarly people.
Yeah, she knew how to talk to them and maybe diffuse the situation, or maybe she was pissed off and she was like, what's going on? Is this because I'm an officer? Are you, did I piss someone off?
Yeah, that's true.
Nunzio told police a couple of people he perceived as gang members had taken notice when he and Elizabeth had exchanged a wad of money in the mall. One article that I read said that he was being very obvious about giving her the cash. Here, honey, will you put this in your purse for me?
This $5,000?
Yeah, count it.
In small bills.
Nunzio described the gangster's car as a dark blue, late 1970s Oldsmobile. He gave detectives a license number that, upon checking, did not match to anyone in the system. Nunzio described the 4 men in the Oldsmobile as a pair of black men, and 2 men were either white or Latino.
Okay.
In the immediate aftermath of the shooting, police thought the case was an act of road rage. They considered the fact that Elizabeth was a correctional officer and thought she may have made the wrong person angry, or that it was a possible carjacking and robbery committed by some street gang members gone wrong. But the more investigators dug into the killing, the more their sights turned away from the gang theory and towards something closer to home. In an interview with The Times, is this on the bingo card because it's where the person
Is it get involved with the press?
Yes.
Let me quickly reference the bingo card, but I'm pretty sure that is true.
Okay. It should be, though.
Well, we have inserted themselves into the investigation, but I think he's in the investigation.
Yeah.
We've got the husband did it. So that's definitely a tick.
Yes.
Yeah, that we haven't got on there that they were like went
They
to the
talked
press.
to the press, yeah.
Talk to the press, yeah. But I think inserted themselves into the investigation is kind of talking to the press / that.
Right.
But if you were involved in the crime, like visibly,
Yeah.
then maybe that doesn't count. But yeah, I think I'm going to keep this card up. So
Okay.
I'll play along to your story.
Okay. So, in an interview with The Times shortly after the shooting, Nunzio said he believed his family had been targeted by the attackers while they shopped. He said 4 men had followed the family as they drove on the freeway and eventually cut them off before getting out of the vehicle and shooting his wife. Nunzio described his wife as full of joy, sensitive, and a wonderful person.
I'm sure she was.
Yeah, I believe that
Until
she
you
was.
came in and fucked it all up.
Yeah. So a few years after the killing, Nunzio collected most of the $1 million life insurance he had on Elizabeth. He had also become difficult in the interview process and became very protective over his daughter, not letting them interview her over time and using their grieving as a way to get out of dealing with the police. So remember, his daughter also witnessed what had happened.
Yeah.
And they did question her, but...
She's probably scared shitless of him as well.
Oh, yeah, totally.
I think if he can control a grown woman, like think about how much fear he could, or like manipulation he
Right.
could exert over a child.
Yeah, exactly. Nunzio had even sued the police for harassing him. The suit alleged that police treated him as if he were a criminal after his wife was brutally murdered. The two parties settled on approximately $25,000.
What?
Yeah. That's infuriating too, because it's like,
That's
you
so
just got
annoying.
most of $1 million life insurance, and now you're suing for even more money for something that
Okay,
you
at the
actually
moment
did.
this is working out really well for him.
Yes. So while all of this initially caused red flags, with minimal evidence and an uncooperative witness, the case went cold for more than 10 years.
Wow.
It was not forgotten by Elizabeth's family. Thanks to the
No.
perseverance of Elizabeth's elderly father. Also, I tried looking for his name, but I couldn't find it, so...
Oh, I bet it's something great like Ted or like I don't know, what's a
Ted
dad name in
Wheat?
America?
That was her last name, so...
What's like a classic dad name in America? Like my dad's name is Brian. That's a classic dad name.
Yeah, definitely. Paul.
Paul, yeah, and Kevin.
Kevin.
Kevin's quite a dad name.
Yeah.
Carly's dad was called Kevin. They're great. I love dad names.
Yeah. David, that's my dad's name.
Oh yeah,
Or Dave.
That's timeless. Timeless Dave. My dad Dave. Yeah, that's pretty timeless. Who else? Like, there's got to be more dad names than that. Why has my mind gone completely blank?
What's your boyfriend's dad's name?
Oh well, he's French, so right. So every time he tells me someone's name, I'm like, is that a boy or a girl? Because his dad's name is Michel.
Oh, okay.
But it's just French version of Michael.
Yeah.
But you say Michel.
Yeah.
And his granddad is called Dominique.
Okay.
But it's Dominic. But it's like in a they just say Dominique. Yeah. So
I would
it's
have that problem
confusing.
too. I'd be like, are you talking about a man or a woman right now?
My dad Michel.
Yeah.
Like, come on. I've gotten used to it now though. But yeah. There's no quality dad names coming out of that.
Oh, maybe that is a standard dad name in France, though.
Guess so.
My dad, Mitch. Michelle.
Jerry. That's a classic dad name.
Yes.
My stepdad's called Terry as well.
Oh,
so
okay.
that's another one.
Yeah. Okay, so thanks to the perseverance of Elizabeth's elderly father, let's just call him Ted.
Yeah. Just about to say that.
In 2009, the case fell into the hands of Sergeant Darren Wyatt, who was on light duty recovering from major back surgery when he decided to give the cold case another look into. This was about 11 years after the murder. During his investigation, he found a phone bill that Nunzio tried to eliminate. These contained calls to the supposed gang members during that same time, which I think at the time he said that he was just calling his boyhood friend.
Yeah. I love stuff like this, like good old fashioned detective work.
Yeah,
like
this is
phone
some
bill
more
or...
like it's weird that they didn't do this when the crime happened and that it took 10 to 12 years later, but it is really good detective work.
Yeah, especially from this guy.
Right. Also, those torn up papers that they found nearby the car on the day of the shooting, they were also re-examined and they were put together because they were like torn up. On it, they found that Elizabeth had scribbled the words light blue and a license plate number. So this was, it wasn't the same information that Nunzio had given the police when they gave a license plate number. And he also said that the car was a dark blue Oldsmobile. So he just lied.
I did think that a 70s car again, that's on the bingo, like conspicuous car. Like that's quite like a 70s car in the 90s is still going to be like,
it's going to stick out.
Maybe, because it's a certain style sort of thing.
So the papers also had Nunzio's fingerprints on them, which means that he was...
Oh, what an idiot.
Yeah, he was the one that tore them up and just threw them.
And just like throw like confetti above your head. Like put it in your pocket, eat it, shove it up your ass.
Yeah.
Do something with it that isn't in plain sight of everybody. Like, it's just, oh my God.
But
it's so annoying.
The detectives, the police at the time did a really good job for finding that, because imagine searching the freeway and you find little pieces of paper. Like, there's trash everywhere on the freeway.
Yeah, fuck that.
How would you know what's relevant and what's not, you know?
Well, in my mind, it's an A4 piece of paper ripped into 4 pieces. And they're about 10 centimetres from the car.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I see it, but the way you're seeing it is completely different.
I'm imagining, like, a little Post-it.
That is more reasonable to have in a car. Rather than, like, a scroll.
Scroll.
A quill.
So, in February 2012, police officers arrested 55-year-old Nunzio in Rancho Cucamonga, California.
Fun name.
Yeah. Jose Sandoval, the owner of the light blue car that they ended up matching up to the license plate that was written down.
Yes.
He was brought in and interrogated, and with fear of being put in jail, Sandoval admitted to everything. He told investigators that his cousin Guillermo Espinoza asked him to use his car for a job the day of the murder, and he also named a third person in the car, Rudy Duran. So this guy, Jose Sandoval, he just sang to the police, told them everything.
Sang like a canary.
Yeah.
I bet they were rubbing their hands together.
Nunzio went on trial on August 21st, 2013 in a Santa Ana court for conspiracy to murder his wife for financial gain. On September 6, 2013, the jury, after deliberating for 3 days, found the defendant guilty of hiring Espinoza and Sandoval to murder his wife. On October 4th, 2013, the judge sentenced him to 25 years to life.
Okay, so his daughter is also 21 now, right?
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
So, what's she up to?
Right.
Like,
I tried
do
to
you
find
fancy
out.
shedding some light on it?
Yeah. I did try to find out, but I'm sure because she was only a child at the time, maybe they just
Unreliable
didn't want
witness,
her name
like...
displayed everywhere.
Yeah, fair.
And in the California episode, she names the daughter, and I didn't want to do that because it's like...
That's a bit harsh.
Yeah. Just like, and
she didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
Also, if he... Let's say that she testified against him and he got off. Like, you're not going to do that, are you?
Right.
Especially if you're scared of him.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah, even if the police said, will you testify, she probably would have been like, nah.
Right. Okay, so this last little bit. In October 2013, Rudy Duran and Jose Sandoval pled guilty to voluntary manslaughter. Both men were sentenced to time served and were released from jail. So they had already gone to jail for other reasons.
That's a bit of a backhander, I think.
Yeah. There was a huge...
incriminating him.
Yeah. And they did come to like a plea deal, especially Jose did. And his attorney really pushed the fact that when he was out of prison for what he had done, you know, that wasn't related to this, he really tried to turn his life around. So, you know, when he told police everything about what happened, he was like, I'm a changed person, you know.
Yeah.
I don't want to go back to jail.
He must have had a fucking great lawyer.
Yeah, that too.
He must have had the best. He must have had like Saul Goodman.
Right.
Like, I'm watching Breaking Bad again, by the way.
Oh, really? I should do that too.
Yeah.
This last little bit. So the last guy, the one who actually did the shooting, Guillermo Espinoza, So on March 4th, 2016, more than 18 years after the ambush and murder of Elizabeth Wheat, the last defendant was apprehended in Mexico. The authorities extradited Guillermo Espinosa back to California, where he was sentenced to 21 years in prison. And that's the story of Elizabeth and Nunzio.
What's his last name?
Bugarin.
Yes. That was great.
Yeah.
I love stuff that gets solved like 10, 15 years later, because you properly lose hope, and then
You lose hope, and the person who did it thinks that they got away with it.
oh my god, how smug would you be on like the 5th year? You'd be like, I am out of here.
Yeah.
Like, there is no, this is done.
Right.
Like,
Got my $1
if they
million.
didn't give me then, yeah. And he even sued them for more money.
I know. This guy's a
Well,
dick.
Oh, yeah, he's just a huge bellend. Okay, well, my story is, it was a really interesting one because it happened in 2016.
Okay.
So it's like really not that long ago.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was younger and like the OJ trial was on, and I wasn't interested because I wasn't. And
Right.
like
We were
now,
too young,
now I'm
though.
like, oh yeah, definitely. But now I'm just like, I remember that actually being on TV. Like, and this I followed the story, and it unfolds, and it unfolded on the news in front of me. So I was like, oh my god, did you hear about that? Oh my god, did you hear about this next bit? So yeah, it should be like quite a twisty one.
Ooh, okay.
This is the story of Helen Bailey. You probably haven't heard of her, but she was born in Ponteland near Newcastle upon Tyne and was brought up there. She gained a degree in physiology at Thames Polytechnic in London, intending to become a forensic scientist before undertaking postgraduate research in a teaching hospital. Then she changed career to work in the media, and she worked on licensing and marketing campaigns for cartoons like the Rugrats, The Simpsons, Garfield, and also on Nintendo.
That's fun.
Yeah, really fun. But her real passion was writing, and so she always just wrote in the evenings.
Aw.
I'm sure she made like a fair bit of money as well, because I found that when I was living in London, like that's where obviously all the big brands are and all the big companies are and stuff. So
Right.
you do get to work on quite exciting stuff, and you do get to like meet people that work at, I don't know, like BuzzFeed and like stuff like that.
Warner Brothers and
Yeah, and like Vice and like stuff like that. So it is quite like an exciting place to live, and you do have impressive job titles and stuff. So she then got a temp job as a secretary. I'm not sure why. I think it was at the same company. Because then she met her first husband, a guy called John Simfield, in 1996, and they got married. Isn't that when your crime happened?
1998. January 1998.
Oh, okay.
So around that time,
Okay.
though, yeah.
Helen was a really, really good writer, and she was really successful. She wrote 5 books in a series that was called The Crazy World of Electra Brown. I've never heard of it, but it's basically like a teen like book, like Twilight or something of that nature, like kind of serialized. Yeah, like I might look into it and see like what it's about. But she was nominated for a, in air quotes, Queen of Teen Award in 2010. Yeah, so she's so successful. She also wrote books for younger children, like picture books and storybooks, and all in all she had 22 books of short stories, picture books, and young adult fiction published. So she's doing good. And then in February 2011, her husband John and her went on holiday to Barbados. At this point they've been together for 22 years, and they've been married for the last 15. That's a fucking long time.
It is a long time.
Yeah. She was on the beach when she heard him cry out, and all she could do was watch as he was pulled under by the riptide, and he drowned
Oh no.
and died. Yeah.
That's so sad.
So, yeah, they were really happy. And then, as a result of this loss, she started a blog called Planet Grief to help her work through the grieving process. It's like everything she touched turned to gold, because even that was really successful, and it soon
Wow.
had over 10,000 followers.
Wow.
So on the back of this, she wrote her first book for adults called When Bad Things Happen in Good Bikinis in 2015. That's basically about her watching her husband drown.
Yeah.
So the book was a huge hit, and she had loads of like media coverage. She spoke about it on Sky News and on BBC Radio 4 and Women's Hour, which is a really, really sort of like illustrious spot to get.
Yeah.
And then in the book, she also mentions her new relationship, which started in October 2011 with Ian Stewart. So he had lost his partner when his wife died, and he was left a single father of 2 adult sons.
How did
He
his
was a
wife die?
It was complications with epilepsy.
Okay.
So
It wasn't like sketchy.
well, Rachel, you are guessing my story. I have tasted my medicine and it is bitter. So he was a software engineer, and she met him on an online bereavement forum because they were both bereaved, obviously.
Yeah.
But looking at this, it's only just occurred to me that her husband died in February 2011.
Yeah.
So between February and October, she wrote a hit book, got 10,000 followers, and started a new relationship.
Wow.
That's quite a lot, isn't it?
She must be like an A-type personality. She's just go, go, go.
Yeah. Because what's that? February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. That's 8 months.
Wow.
Like
1 month to write a book, 1 month to start a blog, 1 month.
1 month to like get a new husband.
Yeah.
Like,
That's tons of time, Talissa.
jeez. I can spend like that long figuring out whether I'm gonna like, I don't know, fucking throw away a plant or something.
Well,
Like,
how long did it take us to put out this podcast?
Jesus, I don't even want to admit. Like, we fannied around. Like, there's no other word for it.
Yeah.
So, and for your American listeners, when I say fannied around, I mean like minge, not like arse. So yeah. So in the book, so she mentions Ian Stewart in the books, and she calls him her gorgeous grey-haired widower.
Okay.
So she had already met him pretty soon
Yeah.
after her old husband's death on this bereavement forum. So fast forward, and 5 years later, they'd moved to a place called Royston, which is north of London, near Cambridge. I googled that, so I know it's right. Helen was 51, and Ian was 56.
Okay.
So, on the morning of the 15th of April, Ian called the police to report Helen missing. He said he hadn't seen her since Monday and he hadn't heard from her. He also said even her best friends haven't heard from her. Ian told the police operator his fiancée, because they were engaged at this point, had been very, very anxious and very worried about a lot of things. He said, she has talked about us wanting space because things just haven't been going well for her recently, or for us. He said they were engaged to be married and she was stressed about the upcoming wedding. He added, she left a note and she said in the note something like, I need space and time alone. I'm going to Broadstairs. Broadstairs is a seaside town in Kent, which is 2.5 hours away.
Okay.
And she owned a holiday cottage there. So what she basically said was, I'm going to the holiday cottage. And she also said on the note, please don't contact me in any way.
Right.
When the police operator asked Ian if he was sure his partner was not at home, he said, we have got a quite large house and I have literally checked everywhere.
What does
Just
that
such a-
even mean?
Weird exchange.
Yeah.
What do you mean, like, are you sure she's not at home? Like, why would you ask someone that?
Right. Like,
Anyway.
I have a really big house, so maybe.
Yeah, like, I mean, you'd think someone would have checked their house before they called the police. But
Right.
anyway, Ian claimed he had been in contact with Helen's friends and her brother, and none of them had heard from her. He said he'd asked people to check the cottage that she said she was going to, but there was no sign there either. And when asked to describe her, he could not recall the colour of her eyes. He had to look up both her mobile phone number and her date of birth.
What?
And he was and he was unable to give the address of their holiday home in Kent.
He doesn't know her date of birth, and they've been together for 5 years?
He doesn't know her eye colour. They've been together for 5 years. I mean, I'll give you the mobile phone number. I couldn't tell you Vince's mobile phone number.
I know Will's because I've just made myself memorize it in case anything ever
Of
happened.
emergency.
Yeah.
That's clever.
All of those things. I feel like after 5 years, you would
What
know.
colour are Will's eyes? Quick, now. Rachel!
No,
Sliding
they're
off
green.
this
They're
guy.
green.
Yeah, I believe you. Thousands would have. So, this is not looking good for you, by the way.
No.
The last official sighting of Helen was on the 11th of April, 4 days earlier, when she was seen by neighbours out walking her dog, and this is the best bit, a miniature dachshund called Boris.
Oh, Boris.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Police checked the cottage and found that she wasn't there. It came to light after questioning that she'd disappeared around the 5-year anniversary of her first husband's death, and the police thought it might have set off a period of depression for Helen.
Okay.
But her brother and mother described her disappearance as out of character, and the police described it as perplexing. So,
Also, she
a
doesn't
month
sound like
later-
a depressive person.
No, I mean, like you say, she's just got on with it. Like,
Right.
she literally made good out of the shittiest situation ever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she doesn't really seem like the sort of person that would just, like, walk away when things got tough.
Right.
A month later, and she still hasn't been found. So, her brother goes on TV to appeal for information about her disappearance. And he said, if you see this appeal, Helen, please let us know you are okay. It's really sad as well. Like, she clearly loves her to bits. Police carried out extensive searches of the local area and went through hundreds of hours of CCTV. There was no evidence that she had tried to contact friends, and she hasn't taken any money out of her bank account at this point. So they then searched the home from top to bottom, including all the grounds, because it's a really massive house with loads of like outdoor space.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a septic tank on the property, and they even search in there. So, do you know what a septic tank is?
Yeah. That's what Chris Watts put the bodies in, I think.
Oh no, he put the little girls' bodies in an oil tank.
Yes, you're right.
But imagine that tank, but underground.
Right.
It looks like that, but it's full of sewage.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's just when a house is so big or like a bit older that it wouldn't be in a row of houses, so you wouldn't hook it up to like the mains, like plumbing,
Right.
like the plumbing system, because it's a
Right.
little bit out the way. It's really massive. It would take more effort to do that. So they just have a big septic tank where all the sewage goes, and then they just have to have that emptied like every, God knows how long. I don't know. Sounds gross. Obviously, that's what you have to do if you've got a massive big old house.
So they
So-
checked that and nothing was in there.
Yeah, there's nothing. They don't find anything in the house. They don't find anything on the property. They questioned Ian multiple times. His stories were muddled.
I have a quick question.
Yeah?
Where's the dog?
I don't want to talk about that yet.
Oh, no.
I know. The worst bit. Okay, so they questioned Ian multiple times. His stories were muddled, filled with random rambling tales, and he said he couldn't remember much from the day that she went missing. But he did take part in the searches, and he also paid to have flyers printed and distributed them as well. When questioned by the police, Ian and Helen's neighbours related episodes when Ian revealed volcanic rages. So members of Ian's former bowls club, so you know, like where you just throw a ball at another ball and try and hit it on a very, very smooth bit of green.
Yes.
Yeah. So he was in a club for that. And they recalled how he was obsessed with money and extremely frugal. He accounted for every penny he spent or was owed, and he caused a scene at a bowls match when he was asked to pay for a cup of tea, as he argued that it should have been covered in his membership fee.
Wow. What's that, like
fucking
a pound? A pound 25?
Not even that. Like, what a fucking skinflint. I hate people who are stingy.
So do
it's
I.
It's one of the worst qualities, I think, in someone.
A lot of the people that I know that are pretty wealthy. So it's like you could afford a cup of tea. You can afford this, like, whatever it is that you're fighting for right now.
Yeah, but you don't get rich by being generous, Rachel.
That's true.
I always think that, like, yeah, whenever people are fucking stingy cunts, it is always someone who has money.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
because that's the thing, because if they didn't have money, you wouldn't call them a stingy cunt.
Right.
You'd just be like, okay, fair enough.
No,
you don't have money.
No. I had a good friend in uni that he didn't have a ton of money, but it was like, and I get it because I was poor too, like, but I would still go out and have fun. But like, it was like every cent of every pound or every dollar, it was like counted for, like calculated. It was just like, dude, you need to relax. Like, everything's gonna be
talking about my
fine.
ex?
What? No, I'm not.
No, in his defense, he wasn't stingy. But yeah, because I wouldn't go out with someone stingy because it is just horrific.
It's
Like,
not fun.
I've had a boyfriend as well who, again, earned a lot more money than me. And I said, I don't have any money. And we were at the till in like Tesco's, and he basically like, he was like, it's okay, like, don't worry about it. I'll like get whatever. And he had like, he's like, what do you want to drink tonight? I think we were just like drinking in the house, whatever. So I got like a bottle of Prosecco, and he put it on the till, and then he put the divider between his stuff and the bottle of Prosecco.
What?
So I had to pay for it, even though I literally had like 20 quid to last me for like the rest of whatever.
What?
And
Did
then
he
when
just forget or something? What?
I don't know. Like, but when we got out, I was like, I can't believe you did that. And he was like, what? And I was like, you basically forced me into paying for that
Right.
when I told you I couldn't afford it. And he was like, oh, sorry. Like, I just didn't really think about it. I was just like, I feel like you did think about it. Like,
How do you
and, when I
forget
say-
that?
yeah. Sometimes, like, if someone's on a till with me, I will just take their stuff and pay for it and be like, we'll sort it out later.
Yeah.
And even if we don't, I'm not like hounding them for it.
No.
Like,
That's why we're
And
not
I'm-
rich, Talissa.
that is why I'm not rich, 100%. Yeah, so this guy, he also refused to chip in a few pounds for unforeseen repairs to the bowling green for the same reason, and he refused to participate in whip rounds for colleagues' birthdays. Now, I have a little bit of an issue with this. because I do hate stingy people, okay?
Yeah.
But sometimes in an office, they're like, "Oh, it's blah blah's birthday." I'm like, I barely know them. I don't really like them that much. Like, I resent spending money on people who I don't know or like.
Yeah. When you're at work, I feel like I've been in a couple of different work situations where people do that. And it's like, I think my last job where that happened, it was very, you know how you have like your work friends? You'd
Yeah.
ask them if they wanted to pitch in for your other work friend's birthday, but you wouldn't
Yeah.
ask the whole floor or the whole office, you know?
Yeah, it's just such a, like, everybody goes through it and it's such a contentious issue. Like, everyone has their own opinion on it.
Right.
And yeah, and I'm also like, look, I really like you guys, but I don't need a gift from you.
No.
Like, keep your money. Come out
I
for a drink
know.
or something. Like, but then I'm just not a very, like, gift person. I don't know, like, I think about spending time with people or, like, doing things for them rather than buying them something.
Right.
But that's like you know, that like 5 love languages thing that you showed me,
Yes.
where it's like some people show their love with attention, some people show their love with compliments, some people show it with money,
Yeah.
some people show it with time, like everyone, or physical touch, like everyone has different styles.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not fussed on people buying me presents at all.
Right. I like getting presents, but only specific ones. Like, I'm-
Never stray from the list.
exactly. Don't buy me clothes. Don't buy me jewelry. Will can buy
No.
me jewelry because he knows me best. But I just don't like when anyone else gets me clothes or jewelry because it's like, you don't know what I wear. Don't
And you have
do
a really
that.
specific style, like.
I do, and like I spend like forever trying to choose things when I'm buying
Yeah.
things to wear. So I don't want you to spend 5 minutes and be like, "Oh, she'll like that." Like, that's not how I work.
Yeah. Also, like, I think just the main thing for me is just keep your money. Like, I don't need your
Yeah.
money. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm fine. I just want you to be there and have a drink with me, or like,
Right.
yeah, just keep your money. It's fine. But
Yeah.
I mean, I think also I feel guilty because I'm shit at buying presents back. So
Oh, me too.
I feel like I'm just take. Like, this present is like giving me a big bag of guilt to carry around with me about how I'm a shit friend to you.
Yeah. So stressful.
Yeah, I'm never getting any presents again after this, am I? That's fine.
So he wouldn't put
Oh.
money in for someone's birthday. We can understand with that, but
Okay, I'm ready to hear him out for the birthday thing.
yeah.
But cup of tea at the Bowls Club, grow up. That's my opinion on it.
Yeah.
Okay. On the 11th of July, police reported that they had arrested a local man and questioned him on suspicion of murder and disposing of a body. He was initially released on bail, and then it turned out that he was innocent. So this man wasn't named.
Okay.
Thankfully, because he definitely was innocent, and I'm going to tell you why. Because on the 15th of July, police reported that they had been tipped off by a neighbour that there was a second secret septic tank under the garage.
Oh.
There, The police found an arm sticking out of the tank, which turned out to be Helen. And I'm really sorry, but the remains of Helen's dog, Boris.
No.
What did Boris do to you? I mean, obviously Helen did nothing, but still, Boris. I think he just knew that she loved that dog and she wouldn't leave without it.
Yeah.
So
and probably
to
the
make
dog
his-
was protective of her as well.
Yeah, so to make the story look viable, he had to get rid of Boris, had to go.
Right.
I think this is why this story stuck in my mind, because I was like, Boris! Why?
No.
No. It's fucking cute as well. I'll put a
Aw.
picture up. Ian tried to throw police off the scent by parking his car over the entrance to the cesspit, so that's why they didn't know it was there.
Okay.
During questioning, they tell Ian they know this about the situation. He was the last person to see her alive. He didn't report her missing for 4 days. He was painfully vague in his recollection of what happened that day, and he visited the place he said she went to the day after she was reported missing, but didn't mention this to the police. So he reported her missing, and then he went to the cottage, but he didn't tell police that he went to the cottage.
Mm-hmm.
He said that he'd asked people around the village and they'd said that they hadn't seen her.
Okay.
During that visit to the cottage on the 16th, Ian had inadvertently connected Helen's mobile phone to the Wi-Fi router in the holiday home. And he suggested strongly in the 999 call that she'd taken her phone with her when it was clear that he was in possession of it after the police saw that it connected to the Wi-Fi. That's good old-fashioned detective work, isn't
Yeah.
it? They said, where's her phone? He was like, dunno, guess it's with her. But yeah,
Right.
Clearly he had it. So he was charged on the 16th of July with murder, perverting the course of justice and preventing a lawful burial. He remained in custody and appeared at St Albans Court on the 19th of July. And then on the 12th of October, he pleaded not guilty. So his trial was set for January 2017.
He
yeah,
pled
so
not guilty? Why?
Yep. Oh, you'll see, my friend.
Okay.
Like, absolute cock and bull story. Again, much like your one, they're very similar. So the jury was told by Helen's brother that during his only visit to her home in Royston, she joked about the cesspit in the garage being a good place to hide a body, and that the remark had been made in full earshot of Ian. They also heard that it was alleged by the prosecution that Ian had twice attempted to use power of attorney to sell a flat owned by Helen. These attempts included one on the afternoon of the day on which she went missing, when he told the solicitor dealing with the sale that Helen was too unwell to attend in person. She supposedly went missing on the Monday. That's what he said. He hadn't seen her since then. And then on that afternoon, he tried to sell her flat without her permission and said that she was too ill to be there.
That's so sketchy.
It's also really stupid. Like,
yeah.
really obvious, and you're leaving a trail. Also, can you not wait?
I know. How excited
Can you not wait
are
5
you?
minutes?
Yeah.
Can you not wait a month? Like, and be like, I can't go to work, I'm too depressed. Since Helen went missing, I need some cash. Even though he didn't need any cash, because they had a shitload of cash. You'll see, because...
What an idiot.
Oh, I think he's like... He almost strikes you as like, so again, like, we have a load of these, but so narcissistic that he just does ridiculous stuff because he just doesn't think he'll get caught.
Right.
Like, he's so confident in his ability to get away with it that he makes ridiculous mistakes.
Yeah.
So he deleted his internet history, but this was found in a fragment of data uncovered by the police. You can never delete your internet history.
No.
You
Don't
can't.
even
It's
try
there.
it.
What's the point? Also, don't Google how to hide a body. Like, he didn't do this, but people do all the time, don't they?
What
Like,
is it? That was in your story last week, I think. Wasn't it?
Was it? What was last week?
I think it was like a teenager or something. No, it was that one. It was the kids who kill. And
Yeah.
he Googled like
yeah.
how to get out, how to plead insanity or something like that.
That was it. How to
Yeah.
get away with a murder.
Right.
Like, yeah. Again, ridiculous. But do you know what? It worries me because reading these stories, I'm just like, okay, so if I murder someone, I'm not going to murder someone, but if I was going to, I would like turn my phone completely off or leave it in my leave it in my house. Don't take your fucking phone with you. Don't like use a car because they have, what's it called? Like license plate recognition.
Right.
Like,
Don't do anything to do with money. Don't try to sell your spouse's personal possessions or like reach out to a realtor or don't do
At least try
anything
and
like
act
that.
sad.
Yeah.
Remember their color. Remember the color of their eyes.
Yeah.
Like,
Don't do any
Rachel.
admin. I
Yeah,
do know the color of Will's eyes. I was put
They
on the
better
spot.
be green. They better be green when I look.
I'll send a picture.
Right in the eye, just of his eye.
Yeah.
Just completely. The whole shot is the eye. So
Also for me to remember.
yeah, I mean, it's always good to have a cheat sheet. So Helen was an avid Arsenal supporter. So Arsenal is just a football team, like a soccer team.
Yeah.
She regularly attended matches at the Emirates Stadium and had been a season ticket holder for a number of years. In the period that she was, in quotation marks, missing, Ian renewed their Arsenal season tickets, costing £1,577 each, with money from their joint bank account, after she was sent an email from the club on May the 12th to her personal account saying that the current tickets were due to expire. So that proves that he had access to her emails, and he wanted an Arsenal ticket. So
Wait, he won't pay for a cup of tea, but he'll pay for season tickets for him and his dead wife.
1,570. You're probably thinking, I'll take someone else. Like,
Yeah.
genuinely, that is probably what he was thinking.
Right.
Like,
And it was probably
But it's
her
probably-
money.
well, yeah, it's in a joint account.
Yeah.
But he was a software engineer, so I'm sure he didn't earn like shit money. But she was a successful author.
Right.
So
Right.
very successful author.
Yeah.
So she had just a lot more money than him.
Okay.
The jury heard that on the day she vanished, Ian increased a standing order to transfer money from Helen's bank account to their joint account from £600 to £4,000 per month.
Okay.
So that's a massive jump, and he can access her bank. He's got access to nearly everything. Vince couldn't get into my bank and change money.
I think, well, Will and I have a joint account, but I don't know his passwords to get into his bank, his personal
No.
bank account, and I don't think he has for me either.
Also, they're not even married yet. They're engaged.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's not like it's her husband. It's just like they're just like cohabiting.
Right.
So
And they're like in their
Um,
50s, so they should very well have things separate. You'd think they would.
so yeah, it's difficult for me because I've never had a joint account with someone because I've just never been in a relationship long enough. Genuinely, that is why. Like, I'm sure I will have a joint account at some point, but
Yeah,
it
it's
would make me
handy.
feel really insecure to not have my own bank account.
Oh,
with
yeah.
my own money in it.
No, I couldn't do that. Even if I have no money, I still want my own bank account.
I want my own card, my own get out of jail free card. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So the jury learned Ian was the main beneficiary of Helen's £3.4 million estate and would also benefit from a large life insurance policy.
Oh, ding, ding, ding.
Tick. Yeah. The jury was played the call in which Ian reported her missing and noticed his lack of knowledge about basic details regarding Helen. Helen's mother, Eileen, great mum name,
Yes.
that is great, testified that Helen had been concerned that she was sleeping excessively and she felt like she was going mad. The prosecution stated that traces of anti-insomnia medication had been found in Helen's body. It was suggested that Ian had been drugging her for months.
Wow.
Giving evidence in his defence, this is the insane, ridiculous story that he made up.
Okay.
So, strap in.
Yes.
Ian claimed that Helen and her dog Boris had been kidnapped on the 11th of April by two men called Nick and Joe. That's it, no second name.
Okay.
Saying that he had not told the police about this to keep Helen safe, and that the kidnappers had demanded a ransom of £500,000. He said that he had spoken to her for the last time on a mobile phone belonging to one of the men on the 15th of April. He was subsequently presented in court with two men who the prosecution alleged he had based the description of the kidnappers on. This is so embarrassing.
Why did his
Nick
lawyers let him tell this story?
I guess this might be the old insist that you go on the stand or represent yourself in court bingo card box. Shut up. Just don't say anything.
Guys don't
So-
know how guilty they look sometimes.
They really don't. Also, like, a woman's instinct is so on point. I am like a fucking bloodhound for deception.
Yes.
And it's like I'm watching like Breaking Bad, and it's like Skylar White knows from
Yes.
episode 1
Yes.
like, that he is fucking lying. And he just thinks he's getting away with it like 100%, but like
Right.
she knows the whole time. Women know.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
So anyway, they cart in these two people that basically the prosecution were like, when you said Nick and you described him, it seems an awful lot like this guy. It's a guy called Nick Cook, which is Ian's next door neighbour, and Joe Capullo, whom he knew from his former home in Bassingbourn. I don't know where that is. Ian admitted to knowing both men, but denied that they matched the descriptions of the kidnappers which he had given to the police, saying, they don't compare at all. Like, who are you, fucking Donald Trump?
Right.
Just saying shit. The jury heard of several sightings of Helen after the time at which the prosecution alleged the murder had taken place. One of Helen's neighbours gave evidence that she had seen the author walking her dachshund Boris between 1540 and 1550 on the day of her disappearance.
Okay.
Two other neighbours said that they had seen her walking her dog that day between 1320 and 1420, and then a further witness claimed to have seen Helen in Broadstairs after her alleged murder, but admitted under cross-examination that he had not thought about the sighting until a journalist from The Sun had interviewed him. He accepted that the sighting could have been in March before Helen was reported missing. So the like shitty paper came in and just basically fuddled the witnesses. Like,
Right.
so
Great
that's
job,
annoying.
The Sun.
Oh,
Great
The Sun, mate.
journalism.
I wouldn't even wipe my arse with it. Like, it's for fear of sucking up stupid with my arse. Like, it's so shit. It's unbelievable. In his closing statement, prosecutor Stuart Trimmer QC told the jury that Ian's version of events was quite absurd and that the accused had grossly deceived Helen, saying, it's perfectly plain. She was completely overwhelmed by what some people might call love bombing, which is what we spoke about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
It's a matter of common sense and knowledge that someone shortly bereaved might not have the logical equipment to see that she was being deceived. So, yeah, he just, like, came in, swept her off her feet, and was like, my wife's dead as well. Like,
Yeah.
let's be in love. And I
Oh,
can pay
so
you
what?
money.
So what happened there? Are you gonna get into it
Oh, like, what he did?
with his other dead wife?
Yes, it's coming.
Okay.
Yeah. So, the prosecution alleged that Ian had secretly drugged Helen with Zopiclone, sleeping pills, for several months before he suffocated her, and it was thought that she may have still been alive, although unconscious, when he dumped her in the cesspit.
Oh.
Ugh. Dread to think what he did with Boris. Like, he wasn't giving Boris little tiny dog Zopiclone.
No.
He must have just chucked him in. Like, that's what I think. Or I mean, would you throttle a tiny dachshund? Like, Boris!
Oh, that makes me so sad.
It's really, really annoying as well because Boris is the name of our Prime Minister at the moment, who is an absolute pipe.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whenever I hear the name Boris, it reminds me of our dick of a Prime Minister.
That's what I thought of when you said it at first.
I know, but I didn't want to sully Boris's good name with Boris Johnson. So I don't want to sully Boris's memory. So on the 22nd of February 2017, it took the jury just one day to find Ian guilty of murder. The judge sentenced Ian to life with a minimum term of 34 years,
Wow.
which is pretty hefty sentence in England, to be fair.
Yeah.
So that means like most of the time it'd be like 25 years or 20 years. So that just means that you're in for life, but after 25 years you can apply for parole.
Right.
He's got 34 years before he can apply for parole, and he's quite old at this point. So here's what you're waiting for, Rach. Following Ian's conviction, the police began to re-examine the death of his first wife, Diane. She suffered from epilepsy and was found dead in 2010 in their garden. The coroner ruled the death was due to complications with her epilepsy, but on the 28th of August 2018, he was arrested and questioned on suspicion of murdering Diane. He was charged with her death, and a plea hearing is scheduled for the 21st of September 2020.
Wow.
And he will be 90 before he can apply for parole.
Good luck to that guy.
Oh, he's so dead before then.
Yeah.
Prison does not extend your life expectancy.
No.
He so killed his first wife. Totally.
Right.
And then he's like, he's kind of like fishing around on like bereavement sites for like other bereaved women. Do you know what I mean? It's just really
I
like,
bet you he felt like
lurky.
he hit the jackpot.
Well, he basically did. She's
Yeah.
a fucking millionaire.
Yeah.
And she does little videos and stuff on YouTube, and there's a video of her and she's talking and she's saying, oh, I'm not very good at this, so I was looking up videos of how to do YouTube videos, and she was like, the people that were doing the guides were basically fetuses. She's really funny and fun, and like
Aww.
she says, and the boys, they just look so young, and the girls they're just impossibly gorgeous, and so I'm trying this and I'm not very good at it, but here you go. And like, she's just so like down to earth. Yeah, she's lovely.
I'm gonna YouTube that. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, I'll try and find a link to it and send it to you. But
Okay.
So that's the story of Helen Bailey and Little
Wow.
Boris.
So you basically watched all this unfold.
Yes. So when you just like glance at the telly and it's on the news and you're like, fucking husband did it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
like,
Yes.
husband did it. And then it came out with the news. It was like, there has been a body found in a cesspit under, and you're just like, oh my God. And you know, when they haven't identified the body because they just can't do that.
Right.
But you're like, well, who else is it going to fucking be?
I know. Yeah.
Who else has a tiny little dog like Dash Hound that's also going to be in
And
there?
who is missing?
Yeah. And who lived there? Like, it's just like, I know you can't say it, but obviously it is.
So you said it was 2016, and I think you said April 15th, right?
Yeah, that's when she was reported missing, yeah.
That's when I first met you.
Really?
Yeah, April 15th,
that's-
2016.
Oh, that's like a nice little upshot out of this hideous dog murder.
No, that was mine and Will's wedding
Yeah.
that you came to, so
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, that's so nice. Yeah, God, that was such a good wedding.
It was
You've
fun.
inspired me for my wedding.
Really?
Because my friends and my brother's getting married and he's having it at this place, like really beautiful sort of country home and stuff, and I don't know how much it costs, like obviously I'm not going to ask, but I'm like, I don't want to spend anywhere near that. Like, I remember when I came to your wedding and you had like a canoe full of beers, and I was like, that's the level I'm going for. Like, and you had like games outside, and it was just really kind of like make do, but really lovely as well.
Yeah.
And like, you can do stuff cheap and not look like a skinflint.
Right. And look, like what we did was, that's what we did. We looked at all these different wedding venues, and it was like, you need to put $10,000 down to have, and you need to have this many people, and you're paying for this, per head. And it was like, we ended up, that place that we had it in it was a deli. It was called a deli.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah.
Oh, it didn't
But
look like a deli.
No,
looked
it doesn't
lovely.
look like a deli at all. Like, you go in, there's a stage, there's a dance floor, there's 2 different rooms, there's a bar, there's an outside bit. It was a great place.
Yeah.
So that's
It was
my
great.
recommendation to anyone who wants to save money on a wedding is
Find an old deli.
just look at alternative places and see if they'll host your wedding.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, I don't know who they were, but I obviously got very drunk because it was a wedding, and I ended up talking to some very old people. Like, wherever I was sat, just a very old guy. Like,
Aw.
for so long, and I think he wanted to get rid of me, but he was just like too polite.
Aw. That was probably
I
Will's
wish I-
grandpa.
Probably, like, I wish I could pick out a photo and be like, this dude. Yeah, it was great. So yeah, how long have we known each other now then?
What's
April-
that? Four and a
over
half
4
years.
years?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Rach.
Aw.
Yeah. Oh, that's a nice note to end on. Unless you want to bring up the death penalty again.
Nah. We're good.
Nah. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye
Bye.
then.
Thanks for listening to Transatlantic Crime this week. If you liked what you heard, please rate, review, and subscribe.
And if you'd like to follow us on social media, you can find us on Twitter at TransatCrimePod, Instagram at Transatlantic Crime, and on Facebook with Transatlantic Crime Podcast.
Thanks, bye.